Welcome back to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. As always, we appreciate you listening. Please rate us on all the podcast platforms. Like, subscribe, comment, share wherever else you're listening, and enjoy the show. All right, welcome back to another show. We appreciate I can't even talk today. Appreciate you coming back as always, especially with someone who can't talk into a microphone properly. Want to thank Adam Chubbuck with TACMD.com, Douglas Realty, in Pasadena, Maryland. Adam knows the market very well between Virginia and Maryland. He has quite a few listings in Virginia, not only Maryland. So if you're in the general area, shoot him an email or a phone call. Go to TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com. If you're in the real estate market, whether you're looking to buy or sell, Adam is a person to go to because Adam's going to give you an honest opinion of what you should do in this market. That's not what you're going to get from everybody. Some real estate agents, they are desperate to list a house, so they're going to tell you anything you want to hear just so to get your listing, and your house will sit on the market. And you will not get the best deal. Adam, on the other hand, is going to give you the honest assessment that he has, even if he doesn't get your business. So go to TACMD.com and talk to Adam and set up an appointment today. Big news. Last week, this episode is going to go out probably the first week of July. So about 2 weeks from today, Julian Assange was set free from the UK. He is now in Australia. And for those of you who don't know, Julian Assange started WikiLeaks. And WikiLeaks was the company that I believe it was 13 years ago or 14 years ago put out a bunch of documents that were quote-unquote stolen about military operations and some other cables between governments that were released and didn't show the U.S. in quite a glowing manner. I'll put it that way. Because I don't feel like being suicided tomorrow. I am not suicidal, by the way.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
Are you suicidal?
I mean, I was.
Not today.
Oh, okay.
Today, are you? No, I'm good. Okay, good. So if you end up with,
you shoot yourself in the back of the head twice.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
A head and heart shot. That's what
yeah. So he got set free. Oddly enough, it was the Australian government that kind of pushed this deal forward. And just so people know the factual information, I got it from the BBC, so whether you trust that or not, I don't know or care. Essentially, the Australian government went to the UK government and the US government and said, okay, what do we need to do to get this guy released? It was mostly the U.S. government who was trying to extradite him to put him on trial for, I believe it was 13 counts of dispersing military information and 1 count of hacking. The U.S. basically did Australia a favor because they asked for one, and he pled guilty to the 1 count of hacking, and the punishment was time already served, so therefore he was a free man now as of that day that he signed the paperwork, and he's back in Australia. Depending on who you talk to, Julian Assange is either a hero or a criminal.
Yeah. And for me, he's been both. So when all this first broke, when did all this first start? It was years and years ago.
You said about 13 years, right?
It was either 13 or 14, I think, years ago.
Okay.
Maybe a little. I'm in the ballpark.
Yeah. So when it first opened, of course, I was like, oh, he's a traitor, he's this, he's that. And then as I've gotten older and kind of looked around more and seen more, and I don't get my news from corporate media, it really, I really came to the point where I switched, and now he's like, yeah, he's out. Like, go, dude. So, screw the man. So, I've been, with him, that's kind of been my journey from just kind of believing what I've been told, or what I've been told to believe, and gone to now, really thinking the guy was had some altruistic motives in what he did. So,
I guess it's kind of similar. We were talking about this the other day with the woman that saw a husband cheating on his wife on a plane, and she posted everything to Instagram, and it's like, all right, it's not your business to post that. You have no idea what are you getting involved in their relationship. But if you're the other woman, I kind of want to know if I was getting cheated on. So, like, I get how you're saying this is. You could look at him as a hero and a villain at the same. Maybe just an anti-hero. Can we play some Taylor Swift, or is that copyright? No, we can't do that.
That's a strike in the YouTube era.
Oh, okay.
I even know, is that a Taylor Swift? I have all boys, so I don't know anything about Taylor Swift.
I know all about it.
Except
who was the musician that just came out? Oh, it was Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters came out, and
He called his tour the Errors Tour because they always make errors because they only play live.
The funny part, so on Twitter,
And I think he was joking,
eras or errors.
Taylor Swift's tour is the Eras Tour.
Right.
His tour, he said it was the Errors Tour because they make mistakes because they play live, insinuating she lip syncs sometimes.
well, so here's the story behind that. On Twitter, you would assume that this is the first time Dave Grohl has ever said something advocating live musicianal music versus entertainer music. So, like, I mean, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, it's entertainer music. They're up there singing and dancing. They're not playing the instrument all the time. The Foo Fighters, like actual bands, they're up there, instruments
Taylor plays guitar, though, and writes her own music.
Sure, but it's like in his mind, that's entertainer music.
Yeah.
Not musician music. Years ago, and I want to say it was like between 5 to 7 years ago, he went and accepted an award on stage at one of those award shows, and he basically praised live instrumental band musicians versus entertainer musicians. Mm-hmm. So this wasn't the first time he said anything like this, but if you go on Twitter, even like people that are like Dave Grohl fans are like, oh, I can't believe he said anything like this. Well, then you fucking haven't listened to him talk.
Right.
He has been 100% an advocate of rock and roll musicians, people that can play their own instruments. Now, like you said, Taylor Swift can play an instrument. Does she play all of them? I don't know. But
I think a lot of times in her my wife saw the in Arizona, the first stop in this Errors Tour. Mm-hmm. Not errors. We're going to sound like the guy doing the Baltimore accent, Aaron with an iron urn. But no, so like, tour. But talking about her, she's obviously performing on stage, but it's almost like she's become the 11th commandment: "Thou shalt not say anything bad about Taylor Swift."
Well, that's you can't say anything about in Black Twitter. You can't say anything about Beyonce.
Yeah,
the Beehive. You can't go against that.
See, and I don't find any of their music like remotely interesting, or I wouldn't listen to it. And I have some eclectic tastes in music. Like, if you go through my recent Apple Music, it's been like Kendrick Lamar, 21
Pilots.
No,
Savage.
21 Savage, Future, like, and then it's country. There's like Kenny Chesney thrown in there, and then they even have some like pop, like BTS. It's funny because it came on.
Did you say BTS?
Yes.
That Korean chick?
Yeah. So
fuck.
K-pop's awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is awesome.
No.
So go to one of those Korean.
This is going to be the first
Korean
time
barbecue places.
This is going to be the first time we had an argument on the show.
So there's that song Butter, right? So it came
beautiful.
on. So I have a playlist. It's called Guilty Pleasures, and that song's on it.
That is catchy.
And yeah, it is, right?
All my playlists are called Boner Jam something. Boner Jams 10 Mountain Edition.
Is it from 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yeah.
But like it's not exactly like walk up music, like unless someone loses a bet, they don't walk up to Butter by BTS. But my oldest is sitting in the car, Dad, I can't listen to any of this anymore. I said, why not? He goes, and it was funny. He's 12. And he says, it gives me BTSD.
So, props to him, though.
Yeah,
that's pretty clever.
Yeah.
That's like grade A dad joke.
Oh yeah,
from a 12-year-old.
Oh yeah,
come on,
he nailed it.
We got to give him some credit. I'm going to give him a pound next time I see him.
But yeah, so when it comes to like Beyonce and that, like, and then Beyonce released that country album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was garbage. But
I listened to one song.
But you want to know who then released a country album? Post Malone.
Oh,
Post Malone is,
and it wasn't that bad.
I don't think. Is it out yet?
Yeah, he put out a couple singles. Like he did that one with Blake Shelton, and he did that one with Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen, yeah.
Which, by the way,
that's a good song.
Morgan Wallen puts out bangers. Now look, I'm not a complete Taylor Swift hater because Taylor Swift's got some bangers, and I put bangers in quotation marks. I'll put it on the radio. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying some of them, right?
Yeah.
Got some nice bass beat lines to it. Whatever. You know, guilty. Maybe that is a guilty pleasure. Maybe that goes on my guilty pleasure list. But Morgan, I've just gotten into Morgan Wallen. I didn't know this dude existed. Apparently, he said some bad words a while back.
He dropped an N-word on a video game or something, and because he put out plenty of hits, nobody cared anymore.
Right. Yeah. He came back strong from that.
Yeah.
Like, there was a comedian named Josh Prey. I don't know if you ever heard him. He posted stuff on Facebook. And he was basically like, I don't care if he said it anymore. Because I guess the last album he put out, I was like, this last album was amazing. It was not even fair.
And there's this new big push too for this new country, this like the Tyler Childers and the
hip hop.
Yeah,
is that what they're calling it?
No, it's not. I mean, this isn't. It's like this deep rooted daddy working in a coal mine type stuff.
So it's like the old school like outlaw country type stuff.
Yeah, it's more. That's the perfect word for outlaw country.
Like old Willie Nelson's type stuff.
So that's what I like.
That's a new big push.
Yeah, I don't really like the pop culture, the pop country stuff because it's really just a pop star wearing tight jeans and a cowboy hat and singing like teeny bopper songs with a Southern accent.
There's a difference between Keith Urban though and what Morgan Wallen's doing.
Yeah,
and it hits different. Mm-hmm. Like I can't stand Keith Urban.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, some of this stuff is catchy and it's fun to play like at a pool or on a boat or something. But it's not like, to me, it's not legit old school. Like I like some steel guitar and I want to hear some whiskey and Marlboro Reds on that guy's voice. Like I want to know the dude's been like Jamie Johnson's awesome, and. You can hear that in it. Like he has a great song, "Mowing Down the Roses," and his voice is just, you can hear the Marlboro Reds just coming out. So
speaking of music, I know we started with Julian Assange, and we kind of just scraped out of there.
Yeah.
So with music though, I've been on I don't want to call it a journey because that sounds stupid as shit. I kind of got away from music. I was listening to like mostly just like talk radio for a while, but then I kind of got like,
talk radio sucks.
But of course, like,
sorry, was that me?
But of course, like you get kids. The kids want to listen to music, so I started listening to music all over again. And I kind of brought out some of my old favorites. But then, music is all streaming now. Mm-hmm. You're not buying it from iTunes anymore, putting it on an iPod. People aren't doing that shit anymore. And I've got Spotify, and I listen to a song, and it sounds kind of funky in my car. And then, like, I'll go to YouTube and I'll listen to it, and it sounds so much better. And so I went down this rabbit hole of which streaming music service is better. And, of course, you can never get a straight answer because it's the internet. Like, do you guys use one in particular?
I use Apple.
You use Apple. I've heard the Apple ones are really good.
I got the family plan with it, so everybody gets whatever they want.
And I think Apple is also, and it could be, and this is pure just me talking on my ass, but it makes sense, that Apple Music could be specifically tuned to sound good through the iPhone, through their processors or whatever mixing program, because it's all going to have something in the phone. Maybe it's good. It's designed to sound good through there, and maybe it wouldn't sound as good through something else, or another streamer doesn't sound good coming through that as Apple Music does.
From what I've gathered, like Spotify doesn't score very well at all. Tidal doesn't have all the music, which is the one owned by like Jay-Z and them. Mm-hmm. Apple tends to get good reviews. Now, what you just said, though, like I've got an Android phone, so is it going to sound good coming through my speakers in my car via Bluetooth? I got to find out.
Yeah.
Because before I keep paying Spotify all this money, because like the kids are getting older, right? They're going to get devices. They're going to be on a family plan, right? Well, I know they're not going to want to redo their playlists and shit if I decide that the music quality isn't good enough. So I figure I got to make a decision that I'm going to be stuck in for like 15 years. And it's like because I know me personally, like I'm dreading the time when I switch, or if I switch and I got to like do all the playlists and shit.
Oh, I have playlists that are years old that I just build.
Yeah.
And like I have this one, it's hip hop, and I started that playlist 10 years ago, and I've just, whenever I'm listening to that kind of music and I hear something good, I just add it to it. And now that my oldest is like starting to develop his own music taste, he's become a bit of a hip hop head because he's always playing NBA 2K and all this stuff, and Madden. That's a lot of their soundtracks are hip hop. So like, hey Dad, play this song. I'm like, actually sounds good. So I add it to my playlist. I don't know if I could recreate that. Mm-hmm. Like, do I go and I'm gonna be like a boomer and like write all the songs down.
You know, going back to Julian Assange in Australia, does he like Eminem? Eminem. Anyway.
Speaking of him, I can't stand him anymore.
Really?
I haven't liked any of his music since probably 2005.
Well, I can tell you an Eminem song that I absolutely freaking hate, and it's the first 7 seconds of "Lose Yourself." So, if anyone's ever been to a baseball tournament with kids, there's always the ballpark DJ mom who brings the block rocker, and they announce the kid's name, but they don't do it right. So, like, they start, first of all, the on deck circle is like 12 feet from the plate. So then the kid just like runs in there. And then she starts announcing the name, and then it plays the first 7 seconds of "Lose Yourself." Mm-hmm. Like, when you're building the list for these kids, reserve veto power. And you can tell whose mom picks out their song for them. You know, so it's get rid of, only one kid gets to use it, or give that for the whole team, or for the beginning. But everyone can't do it. So
have you seen the video?
It should be banned. The "Lose Yourself" video?
No. So there's this one video of a kid doing a dance, walking up. He's got the walk-up music, and it's Magic Stick from 50 Cent. Like, what parent approved that? Now, the video, though, is fucking hysterical. Because this kid's dancing up.
About his dick.
This kid is dancing up, and of course, he's doing a slow walk up there.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, the catcher starts dancing from the other team. So now the catcher's dancing, the batter's dancing, and they're both dancing a Magic Stick, which some parent thought this was a great idea to have this song at Little League.
You know, it's about the baseball stick.
They were like 7 years old, and they're putting Magic Stick out there. And like the full lyrics. I'm like, you didn't just want to go with the instrumental.
Right.
You put the words in there.
I got the Magic Stick.
See,
I hit it
I hit
once.
I hit it twice. Like, that's the part she put in there.
baseball.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the kids think it is.
The fungo bat, he hits it once, he hits it twice,
Yeah.
you know, and then he sends you an email on how all these different plays you should run in different
That harkens back to last week's episode when I hate that guy so much. I don't know if I told you. So this guy, he's a parent helper who
Was that like a classroom mom?
basically. So like when parents ask if they can help, I mean, these travel, like, not travel, it's a tournament team. We're all going to 2 fucking tournaments. And you get more parents that want to help, the better some of the players are.
Yeah.
And we have some parents, like we've got one guy, he's got a softball pitching machine, and he's got the generator so that it has power. Mm-hmm. So he wheels out the generator, wheels out this thing, sets it up, lets us go to town. Takes it back when we're done.
So you don't have to do any of it?
No, or he'll wheel it out for pop flies for the outfield. Yeah. Doesn't have any opinion on what girls should play where, when they should play, or what drills we should do. Just, where do you need it? Mm-hmm. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Got another lady, she's working with our pitchers. We say, hey, Courtney, can you help our pitcher out? Sure can. Send her on over. Takes her over there for 15 minutes, works with the pitcher. We send her another one. She sends them back. Doesn't care who pitches, when they pitch, or how they pitch. Great. This guy sending me YouTube videos on hitting drills and fielding drills. And then said, like, he literally said he sent one today. And he goes, I found this great drill on YouTube. There's like at least 8 or 10 more. I'll send them to you. I said, no. I was like, I appreciate you sending this to me. I don't think we'll need any more. But so, he's just not getting the hint.
Yeah, so when I coach, I tell parents, like, look, if you want to bring your glove, because I'm going to draft you, especially the younger they are, because you have to keep it moving, especially with baseball, because like they just get bored, and you can't just go out and hit fungos to them all, because half of them are going to get killed, and the other half are picking daisies and doing whatever. So you have to do it a station-based practice. So the more parents you have, the better. On the flip side, when I'm not an assistant or officially doing anything with the team, I always bring my glove and I tell the coach, hey, if you need me, I'm here. My glove is right here. If you don't, I'm more than happy to be a dad. And I put the ball in their court.
It's probably the best way to do it with any situation like that.
Now, if I see something like, because I'm the game changer guy, so I watch every at-bat and I watch all of our catchers. So I'll go and say, hey, I know I'm sitting right here. I'm seeing this. I found some drills that I can do with them. If you need me, let me know. But I'm not sending them to you saying, do this. It's like, I have it. Let me know if you want me to do it, and we'll do it. If not, again, I'm more than happy to go to Cape 7. So the park has 6 ball fields. Well, Cape 7 is the bar. I'll go to Cape 7 and just tell my kid to walk over when it's done.
Yeah. See, and like a lot of those things too. The conversation we had last week about just people wanting to be involved. It's nice to have people that want to help. And if you want to be a coach, you could have donated all your time to do it. Because you know what? The one thing you guys don't get to do when you're coaching the team is say, hey, I'm not showing up unless there's some sort of an emergency because you're required to be there or have an assistant coach to be there.
Yeah, like they couldn't do what I did today, which is not show up and go and shag balls at the Bay Sox Stadium with my kid. I couldn't have done that if I was a head coach. And when parents complain, I tell them, hey, you could have answered the same email I did. And you're not playing. This isn't this isn't 5-Star Mafia or one of these big travel baseball clubs. This is 10U Rec.
Yeah.
So it's not that deep. And you could very easily step in and do it. And, I'll let you deal with all your own complaints yourself.
Right. Well, hopefully they wouldn't have them since they're coaching.
Right.
Yeah. They could do everything their way.
Yeah. Then they complain that no one was helping them.
It's funny. It's funny though. These texts that he sends, he's like talking about. It's like we're a coaching staff. Like, what the fuck staff are you talking about?
Staff.
Like our hitting coach.
Right. And the funny part, like, there's the 4 of us that agreed to do this, and technically we were supposed to be 2 and 2 because there were supposed to be 2 different teams. Well, we didn't have enough girls, so we moved the younger girls up to play the older age group.
Oh, you do have too many coaches.
So, we got 4, but the 4 of us are fine. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and it's mostly 6 and 7 that are giving us the problems. The other 3 are kind of just like doing what we ask, right? Like one of them's like, it's nice to have her around 'cause she's a doctor. So a kid gets hurt, I don't got to figure out how to fix it. I don't know. I'm not that guy, right? I'm not the compassionate, oh, you hurt your finger, oh, I'm so sorry. No, she'll go do that.
You just pulled landscaping duty.
Right, right. She knows how to properly care for a child, whereas I'm not that person.
What, yelling at them and telling them to rub dirt in it?
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Caring for them?
Or just roll off the field. We still need to practice, right? We'll get you in. The other 2 were just, hey, wherever you need me, I'll be. Great. Not this guy. And it's like, fuck, man. Like, you really think you're the Uber bench coach guy. Like, dude, but this is a fucking this isn't a travel. This isn't even a travel team.
Right.
This is a tournament team.
Be careful. He might be the GM. He might fire you.
Hey,
he could. He's gonna give himself a title. Director of softball operations.
Special assistant.
I think at one point, he was like some softball person within our organization.
Oh,
but he's not anymore because he's pissed off the head so much. Him and his wife, they pissed off the head person
guy.
so much that they left. He left. Then they came back for some reason. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with this. But yeah, like I said this last week. I don't know if he's like I don't know if like mentally challenged is the right word, but like he's definitely
He's on the spectrum somewhere.
Yeah, like he's definitely socially awkward, right? I mean, like I'm socially awkward. He's more so.
You're calling him out.
Yeah. I mean, look, if I'm saying someone's socially awkward, they must really be.
But there's also something to being socially awkward where you're not engaging with people and talking. There's the other people, the side of it, which I think you're saying is, where there's like no filter and he's not understanding anything that's going on.
There's no emotion with it. It's like this is a matter of fact to him, right?
Like his wife says, "Do I look fat in this dress?" He goes, "Yes."
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You look fat without the dress.
I know 4 fat people, and you're 3 of them.
But the funny part, there's another guy who's kind of like that in the organization, like same kind of socially awkwardness to him. Mm-hmm. But the other guy, I don't know if he just handles it better because he's got dry humor. Like he's a person like you text, you could easily take the text in the wrong. Yeah. Like context and be like, wow, this guy's a dick. But when you see him in person and you hear the same thing, it's funny because they're like you can tell how he is. I don't know if you know Paul. You probably don't.
Softball side.
Yeah.
My experience with softball is limited to that one evaluation.
Yeah,
that I did.
That was a lot of exposure that day.
Yeah, poor girls. Like, first of all, I'm not the guy because like there's a lady in our neighborhood who was helping evaluate, and then I was there. and girl fields the ball at third and throws a rainbow to first. And at the very same time, she says, that was great. And I was like, that looked like shit. And she's like, Mike, 10-year-old girls versus 12-year-old boys. Baseball versus softball. Got it.
Well, then the funny part is you knew like probably 4 or 5 of the girls.
Oh, yeah.
So then you're like, she gets a 10. She
Yeah.
gets a 10. Like, I'm not
She's
breaking
a
this girl's heart.
sweetheart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she's
like her a
awesome.
lot. She gets a 10. Mike, she threw the ball into the dirt. Halfway, she didn't make it. Was 7 bounces to first. Yeah, it looked good enough.
So I had a situation where I always did basketball. I coached football and basketball, and I did the same thing you talked about with baseball. Like, hey, you need me to go shag fly balls? You want me to throw to the kids? I'll pitch to them. You know, I'll be a helper. But with basketball, we had to do evaluations. They have to put in a system to grade them. So they have 2 coaches at every, free throws, dribbling, 3-pointer, all these different things. And so I'm at the free throw line, and this kid makes 2 free throws. And the other guy goes to me, oh, man, he's a 4. I've seen him before. Mark him a 4. And I'm like, well, if you mark him a 4, I'm not marking him a 4. It's graded out of 10. I'm like, he hit both of them. How are you going to put a 4 down? Like, this is the only thing we have to go by. And then sure enough, what happens on draft day? He drafts that kid that he marked down. Like, oh, and then he just gets the biggest team. So
He's sandbagging it. That's
yeah,
what he's doing.
it's so funny to see like people do that to try to stack their teams. Man.
Doing it for rec ball, the church league.
That's what this was, rec.
So we played this past weekend, the boys played a tournament, and they won 2, lost 2. I mean, one of the games was mercy ruled in the second inning. They were up 25-7. But the team they were playing, like the kids had just started playing, and they were great sports about it. Like it was a good experience.
I can't believe you guys gave up 7 runs.
Yeah, no, well, I was fuming because it was like pass balls and junk and stealing. It was like, what do you guys do when you're better than this? But the other team we lost to, we could have beaten both teams that we lost to, but the first one they lost was Saturday. It was sweltering, super hot,
Miserable, yeah.
and it turns out that they had this is a 12U rec all-star tournament. They had a 15U player on this team. Like, you want to win a tin ring at a rec tournament that bad? I will buy you the trophy. If you want the trophy, I'll buy you one.
They Danny Almonte did?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how often this happens. My kids were in a basketball league in Parkville, and I almost got in a fist fight with the lead ref who ran the league because he was so mad that our team came into the league and were beating everyone's asses that he called his 21-year-old son to play on a 17U league. And I called him out in the championship game. They threw me out of the gym.
Oh my god!
It's like George Mirzon comes out. Like, okay,
it's crazy. It would still beat him.
Smells like cabbage.
but I don't understand some of these coaches. And I just saw a post on Facebook. It was really interesting where it said, like, kids used to just play sandlot baseball. Mm-hmm. They'd get together, and if they had 10 kids, the one kid that was at bat, like, they'd all just rotate through. They'd use ghost runners. Like, that's what we did.
Or if we had 6, we'd cut off half the field.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, and they found a way to play. And now everything is just so hyper organized. Like, it doesn't have to be little versions of Major League Baseball. And you see some of these teams, like these 8U teams. It's coach pitch, and the uniforms they come out in. I'm like, the coaches are wearing baseball pants. Come on, guys! You're cosplaying baseball with 8-year-olds. It's creepy. So
I will say,
just let them
I'm
play.
a uniform whore, though. I do like a nice uniform.
You like?
I'm not wearing it. Don't get me wrong.
You just like a man in uniform.
I didn't. I
You like when it's gray sweatpants season.
Well, you gotta have a little bulge. So what I do is I put the socks down there to make sure there is one, because I'm not providing one myself.
Ladies' eyes are up here.
Please.
But these guys are wearing like cleats and baseball pants, and
I don't get the cleats.
In case you slip, coach you first. Where's your batting helmet? Like you see him like there's a. Now it is funny because my 6-year-old, he gets in the box at coach pitch, and he's like, time. I'm like, dude, there's no umpire. Your coach is throwing the ball to you, and then he's swinging at his brother's old Cat 9, and like just hitting lasers off of this thing. Like, dude, you're gonna kill somebody. Stop doing it.
If I saw him call timeout, I think I would just laugh my ass
off. I do. It's and I'm like, I say, dude, there's no. Who are you calling time to?
He needs walk-up music.
Oh,
That would be hysterical. And then, dude, I find that shit funny. I'm sorry. I don't care what it is, but like when I see that video like on Instagram or something, I swear to God, I've watched that video 7 times. I laugh at it every time. If I saw that in person, I think I would lose my shit.
It's funny. My son was he was a pitcher when he played baseball. Couldn't hit, save his life. So he started on varsity baseball as a freshman as a left-hander. But the first time he was playing on the Phillies, you know how the kids get their T-shirts or whatever. So what does he do immediately? He goes home and he looks up the Phillies. They got a left-handed pitcher. His name's Cliff Lee. So my son, I'm watching him pitch, and he literally, because Cliff Lee put the ball behind his back when he would lean forward, my son would then turn that into his throwing motion. So it would be like, I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm Cliff Lee, Dad. I'm doing what he's doing. It's like, don't do that again.
Your shoulders just watch that. Yeah. It hurts to watch. It hurts me to watch you do that.
Amazingly, he turned into a pretty good pitcher. But like the funny thing is, when you look at some of these parents you're talking about and how serious people get, like from a baseball standpoint, and I don't know what it's like in softball, there are some parents that are happy when their kids have to have Tommy John surgery early and get it over with so their arm's going to come back stronger.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to throw even harder. And
it's crazy.
Yeah. It's he's 13. He's got Tommy John already. Huh?
Your kid isn't going to make it out of high school.
Yeah. It's and when you look at the numbers of I think it's 8% of high school athletes play at any level in college. Mm-hmm. And of those 8%, it's like 1% play Division One.
Out of that group, yeah.
So you're looking at this and you're like, this is quite the... And you think that by signing your kid up for all this private coaching at 6 years old, he's going to make it. Like, he's going to get a full ride. We're worried about college. He's in elementary school, and you're worried about college.
It depends on the kid and what he wants to do.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids have changed their mind and what they like doing. We tried every sport. We put them through everything, like karate, lacrosse, basketball, football, baseball, whatever they wanted, flag football, whatever they wanted to try. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately they made their decision and what they want to do, because that's the thing for me. Like, I played high school and college ball playing basketball, and I know I look like it. But the thing for me was I told my kids, when you guys want to play basketball and you come to Dad and say you want to play, we're going to play the right way. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to break you down and we're going to learn the fundamentals and we're going to do this right. And, man, my oldest son was crying the first time because I had to break down his footwork. Somebody told him to jump off the wrong foot, one of his coaches. And I'm like,
dad coach.
Oh, my God, It was so bad because they took the first time my kids started playing basketball, they were in a little, I don't want to call it a house league, but it was just like they were doing drills. So you show up, and then they got enough kids. They had 10 kids, like, hey, why don't we get into a league? The first league they take them into is down at right behind Dunbar there. And we're playing against these kids. We're playing against 15-year-olds as 10-year-olds. So we're getting smoked. We lost one game 69-0. And in that league, that because they couldn't get shots off and things, he just told them all these wrong things to do because he was embarrassed of how they were playing against top competition.
That's like you took him to the Rucker.
I've got official numbers, by the way.
Okay.
So you were very close. It says a little over 7% of high school athletes, or about 1 in 13, go on to play a varsity sport in college. However, the percentage varies by sport and division.
Right.
And they give a couple examples, like football is less than 10% go to play college football, tennis less than 4% of female high school tennis players, 12% of high school varsity baseball players play college baseball, 3.6% of high school boys for basketball. But only 1% of those will go on to play Division I. Now, it also says, though, less than 2% of high school athletes play at NCAA Division I schools, and of that, only 2% of those receive an athletic scholarship.
Yeah.
So you got to be 2% of 2% to get an athletic scholarship to play Division I.
Yeah.
So you think about how small of a number that is. And, like, that's why I always tell people, no matter what college you played at, if you made a college team, you played a collegiate sport, it's so impressive to even be a part of that small group. And I've met Division III players I played against that I thought were better than Division I players I played against. So it's just a matter of, sometimes it's a matter of will, the type of person they want to be. I just picked the wrong sport to be short and white. So
yeah, I'm shocked at how many parents think that their kid is the one.
Yeah.
And the sport I know the most is lacrosse. Division I lacrosse teams usually have a roster between 45 and 60 kids. There's only about roughly 50, there's 56, 57, or 62 teams, depending on the year. Each team is only allotted, and this is if the team uses the full allotment. I believe they're allowed 18 scholarships per team. Now, most times it gets divided up amongst, I'd say, 40 of those kids. Anyone above number 40, you're there as a walk-on. Mm-hmm. So, but even those kids, though, if you got 40 kids getting 18 scholarships, a lot of those are halves or quarters.
Yeah.
So they're not even getting most of the college paid for. It's like...
And baseball's the same way. Like a Division I baseball team will get 11 scholarships. And they'll divide those up to get as many kids. So that's why they'll ask, like, college baseball coaches will say, what are your grades like? Oh, you've got a 3.87? Okay, we're going to get... Now we can give you, half of a athletic scholarship and half of an academic scholarship, and we can get you essentially a full ride, but it's not a full ride for just baseball.
Yeah.
Because they want to get as many kids as they can to come to their program, but they don't want to, they're not going to give essentially 10% of their money to one kid.
One of the things that I noticed with high school kids especially is, like, you get all these letters from colleges that want you to come to their camps and come out, and kids think that it's something for me to get noticed. They try to get as many kids out there, and then it's like we talked about, the 2% of 2%. So they get all these kids to pay to come, and then all of a sudden they'll invite some kids that are really special to come for free and then get to watch them compete. And then those are the kids they end up giving scholarships to.
Yeah. And one of the other things that they do is they, like, so especially like a smaller Division III school. Like I went to a small Division III school and played football there, and I got recruited to play football, and I thought, oh wow, I played football for 1 year in high school, and I'm getting recruited to play in college. This is awesome. That coach's job is not just to get players to come play for their football programs, get kids to go to that school.
Yeah.
So you can have, they're allowed to dress, X amount of players, but you can have twice that many on the team in various roles, like scout team this, scout team that, special team. Like, you're the, onside kick guy, and that's all you do if you dress.
Yeah, something that happened to me is I got recruited by Navy to play basketball. But the one thing they said is, like, coming in and playing, if I don't make the team, you're still in the Navy. You know, like, you're not, like, this isn't just, you could spend your entire time here playing basketball. And my dad was, like, so anti-military. He's not like some hippie or anything, but he got dishonorably discharged. He's like, I don't want you going in there. I don't want you doing this. And he was the one that swayed me from going there. I'd have made the team. I was a good ball player. Like, that wasn't an issue.
Naval Academy, or?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, like, there was, it was with the Navy because it was traveling the world and playing ball.
Yeah. Because, like, the Army has, like, U.S. Army track and field team and all this stuff.
Not the Naval Academy here, but
right.
Yeah,
to play for basketball. And it's funny because, like, you say, oh, yeah, I want to do that. And, like, oh, you're not good enough. And so now you're going to the Navy as a non-rate.
Yeah.
Like, you're just going to be on a ship doing something.
Cleaning the latrine.
Yeah, something that no one else wants to do.
You wonder why I didn't go to the Navy? I don't fit in the ship.
Oh, that's...
I don't think I'd fit down the stairwell that they got there.
Well, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter how big the ship is. They call them ladders, and they're still small.
They don't change. Those stay the same.
Right, it's an aircraft carrier.
Yeah,
this thing is 1,000 feet long. Airplanes take off and land on it.
Yeah.
And it's the same as on, like, you'd have, like, on a 40-foot, cabin cruiser.
Yeah. Pretty sure they don't have elevators on that, do they?
Not for people.
Right. Well, for planes. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So you can stand on there, but you only go so far.
Right, but you're only going from deck 9 to deck 10, which is the top floor. You still have to get from deck 2 to deck 9 to catch the elevator.
Yeah, from your shitty berth below the water line.
Yes. I don't think I would survive. Even let's say the ladders are extra wide now, right? I don't think I would survive on a ship.
What if you're in the Navy and the ship was like the Royal Caribbean Oasis of the seas?
Same service.
It's it's just a naval vessel in that.
So what do I have to do on the ship?
You're
man the glory hole.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying no right now. That's all I got to do.
You're the lube guy.
But I still get to go to the dining room. I still get served like as many dinners as I want.
It still makes me laugh. There's this old joke about a guy walks into a porn store and he's shopping around, looking at things, and the guy at the register said, "You interested in the glory hole?" And he's like, "Well, what's that about?" And he goes, "Well, you just go over there and you put your thing in a hole, and somebody on the other side is going to handle it for you." And he goes, "Well, who's on the other side?" And he looks at him and said, "Did you see any other cars in the parking lot?" Anyway, sorry. Take this off kilter.
At least we didn't talk about butt stuff.
Oh, we'll get to that.
So parents suck. I think we've beaten that dead horse.
Yeah.
We started with Julian Assange. We got anything more with that?
See, the thing is, I've only paid attention a little bit. I kind of disconnect from. I listen to podcasts all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't listen to a lot of, I got in my wife's car and she had like some pop radio station on. I forget which one. I'm like, what the hell is this garbage?
Pop 2K.
Like, I haven't listened to like current music in forever. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't even know who the top artists are right now. I have no idea.
Oh, it's Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah.
If I gotta listen to Ariana Grande's nasally voice again, I swear to God, I might drive off the road.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I just choose. I don't have to listen to that.
Her voice is annoying as shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I can go back and forth between Red Rum and Sturgill Simpson all day. I don't have to listen to.
Yeah, but no. So I mean, with the Assange thing though, and I know we're coming back to what we started with, and in the middle there was nothing related to this, but I think if you ask most people right now, for as big of a story as that was, and as big of a story as all the stuff that he put out was, I think very few people know that he's out now. Because it just happened.
Yeah.
But two, I mean, it was 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that, and then there are people that don't realize so the whole thing with him is people thought there's the government side that says that he's a spy and a criminal. And then there's the free speech anti-government side that says he's an investigative reporter. He's being a journalist. The problem that I have with them, just like I have with all these prosecutions of political enemies that are going on right now, is that regardless of how you feel about the one they're doing, the one that's on the receiving end of it, you're not always going to be in charge. So at some point, it's going to come and it's going to happen to your guy, and it's just a very bad precedent to set. The same with Julian. Like, if the establishment thought that this information that he released supported the establishment, he'd be hailed as a hero, and a great reporter and brave and all this stuff. But because it goes against the establishment and their narrative, he's looked at as a villain.
Right. Well, it's the same. Edward Snowden, right?
Yeah.
Same deal. Mm-hmm. Except Edward Snowden was technically a whistleblower.
Yeah.
But he's still in Russia somewhere, isn't he? Or I don't know where.
Yeah, I think he's in Moscow. And when he left, like, he did this, and he just, like, he knew he was going to have to get out of Dodge, and he did. Like, he had a girlfriend and all kinds of stuff that he, wanted to have a future with, and just gone.
Yeah, but now he's got a nice Russian girl.
Yeah.
Nostrovia.
Well, you know what they say about the Russian girls? Because of all the wars and all the men that get killed off there's a lot of needy women over there.
So, like, were tens there?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A lot of Merkins.
Now, here's the thing, though. They're rough as shit, though. So, like, if you fuck up...
They probably cut you.
Yeah, you might get, you might not have balls the next day.
Did you ever meet somebody or know somebody that had a mail order bride either from, Russia or China? I know 4 people.
Really?
Yes. And it's funny because, like, all of the girls that came over were incredibly out of their league,
Yeah.
But it is a weird thing to kind of witness. One of my ex-girlfriend's neighbors had one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, come on, Mr. Magoo, you're not pulling that. How'd you get that over here?
Dude, you're punching way above your weight class on that one.
I feel like we should have led with this. I have so many questions right now. I've never met anyone, but now I know someone that has met someone. So, like, is there a waiting period? Like, how does this work?
I don't know about all that, like, as far as what it takes to get over here. I've met them after they've been in a relationship.
Sure.
So it is just kind of funny, like, I don't know if it's like 3 weeks or something, but you got to agree to it. And then
has it worked out? Or if like the ladies kind of like said, I've done my time, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't think
because you're ugly.
No, I don't think we've had a situation like that, like you've seen in like some of the TV shows. I think Orange is the New Black had something like that, where it's she wants out of the relationship after they get married, or 90 Day Fiance, where you're seeing people get married from other countries and they want citizenship.
Right.
My mom got propositioned by a guy from a local donut shop, and he wanted to get married. He wanted his son to get married, to come over here, and asked her if she would marry him just for purposes.
That happened to my aunt. Not the donut shop, but she met some.
But my mom and Muhammad are very happy now.
I'm sure they sound happy.
Do you call him Dad? Yeah.
Muhammad. So my aunt got propositioned by a Saudi sheikh to go back and live in Saudi Arabia, and like the dude was a millionaire, and he was like, "You'll be taken care of for the rest of your days," but eventually she didn't go. But that was always like the what if scenario. No, don't get me wrong. She did well for herself. She ended up being like a vice president of American Express. She doesn't hurt for money anymore. Her husband like bought, created and sold 2 companies. Like they're fine, right?
Ashley Madison was one of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But are they Airbus A380 private jet rich?
No, not that. We're not that far yet. They were their house in Martha's Vineyard rich.
Okay.
But they're not flying private to the island. Right. They still have to take the ferry to get there. Right.
They still have to put their Range Rover on a ferry and drive it themselves.
Correct.
Okay.
The Mercedes, but yes.
They want their car to start.
It's a C class though. They're not. It's not. We're not talking.
It's not
GLS.
S class money.
No. Speaking of Mercedes, okay, I'm going to switch topics. I saw a CLS Mercedes today, which is like, I guess the 2-door S class.
Okay. Is it convertible?
It was not.
So they used to make an actual 2-door S class, like
that's the CLS.
But they didn't call it the CLS. It was just the S500 or whatever, and it was
a 2-door. Okay.
Remember, like the boxy S class?
Yes.
That you'd see like Saddam Hussein riding around in.
Yeah.
It was like that, but it had 2 doors.
Okay.
It was huge. It was like a huge 2-door coupe, but massive.
The only reason why I bring it up because I feel like it doesn't look Mercedes-ish. Like if you're going to buy the Mercedes, don't you want like the Mercedes one that looks like a Mercedes, and not the one that looks like a Honda Civic?
Right.
I was like, why did you buy that? Like, I don't know. Talk about a tangent, but no.
Well, it's like the Rolls-Royce Cullinan just looks like the Genesis SUV.
Yes, it
does.
They
look really similar. It's like, just buy the Hyundai.
Well, I'll just let you guys know. You guys start talking about cars, it's like you're speaking Korean right now in front of me.
maybe the car is Korean.
I have no idea.
The Hyundai is Korean. Yeah. What was remember the Chrysler one, the Fentley, when they brought back that 300. And it looked like the squared off Bentley. Yeah. And so, and of course, it was popular amongst certain people.
Right.
And like, the worst part about it was you really couldn't, like, one drove by, like I saw a Bentley drive by. I was like, oh shit, that's a Bentley. And the 2 people I was like, no, that's a fucking Chrysler 300M. I was like, that's a freaking Bentley. Like, I know what a Bentley looks like, unlike you uneducated assholes.
Right.
Don't tell me what it is and what it isn't. I saw the headlights. It was a fucking Bentley. Because that was the big giveaway, was the headlights.
Yeah.
Like it was the Bentley had the 4 individual circles in the front. The Chrysler 300 did not.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, there was a 300C or whatever they came out with.
Yes, it was.
They stopped making them.
Did they?
They make so and they're killing all the Challenger's dead.
Oh, they're
bringing it back as some stupid EV.
They're pulling a Ford, huh?
Yeah, and the Camaro's dead now too, and they're going to bring that back as a 4-door EV.
I'm not going to lie.
And there's going to be a Corvette SUV. Sorry, I'm
not going to lie. I was not a fan of the Challenger. I like the Charger look. The Challenger looked like shit to me, and so did the Camaro. Those new ones, I thought they looked like crap.
There wasn't enough 3rd gen in the Camaro, so there's too much retro.
It looked weird to me, like on the back end of it. Like, it just didn't look right. Mm-hmm. It looked like it was a plastic piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that to a nameplate like that. You got plenty of other shit nameplates you could have named that. You should have called it a Nova. Or no, wait, hold on.
Citation.
The Camaro, yeah. What, Chevy? Chevy could have... They should have just called it a Nova.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Chevette.
Chevette was pretty badass, wasn't it, though?
No, the Chevelle was badass. The Chevette was not.
That is my
Car and Driver called it a shit box.
I think Car and Driver called it gay.
I got my L's and my T's mixed up. Forgot my GB's in the middle.
Oh boy,
That's a thinking joke for all the people out there. Sorry, we got most of this shit out of the way.
this was bad. Sorry, anyone who listens to the show though.
We worked it backward.
Yeah.
We worked it back to Julian.
Yeah.
I mean, enough that I'm going to put his name in the title.
Right. for clicks.
I'm going to clickbait his name. We talked at least for 10 minutes about his ass. There's just not enough to go on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's important what he did, what he exposed.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been in jail or whatever he was in for 14 fucking years. I mean, that type of journalism back in the day was called investigative journalism.
Yeah.
You know, if he stole some shit, guess what? You shouldn't have had that shit to begin with. You should have been saying that shit.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have been putting troops in danger. You shouldn't have been doing all this shit. And the thing with Edward Snowden is you shouldn't have been peeping on people.
Yeah.
Federal government. like he's the one that exposed that they can turn on your camera on your phone and your microphone without you knowing. You know, fuck the government for that shit.
They've seen me beating off.
Hey, look,
I was just thinking the same exact thing.
they can watch
you know what, government, go ahead.
Yeah.
Whatever you see is on you.
Yeah, check this out. Look at this angle.
Yeah.
Like, God, look at that disgusting
Can you
thing.
imagine? Can you imagine being the person that has to monitor this shit? You'd be like, fuck, man.
Please don't let me look at that guy's phone again. We need you to get in there. We think he's up to something. Oh, he's up to something, all right.
As your son would call it, it would be BTSD, right? Beating off syndrome. You gotta watch. Imagine how many just disgusting things you gotta watch.
Oh,
Like, and there's like, oh wait, here's the one terrorist after 11,000 hours of watching dudes beat it to beat it.
like you're like, come on, dude. Oh, hey, subject A is up again. You're like, oh, 3 times today.
But listen, they made a movie about that. Only it was for one person. It was called The Truman Show. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
But everyone watched one person, and that was like the dawn of reality TV back then. Although now it's like reality TV, and you're watching the worst of everybody.
Oh.
Just
None of it's actually reality because now you put a camera in front of them, people act differently. They don't know what's
and then they edit it to make it look like however they want. I mean, if you filmed a group of people for 24 hours a day for a month, you can get enough footage to make them look like they're the best of friends or mortal enemies.
What about that show in Japan where they had the guy who was naked in a room and he was being recorded?
There's a movie about that, and I haven't watched it yet. I want to see it.
He had no idea it was being recorded the whole time, but people were watching like it's like a TV show. Like you're just watching this guy see what he does.
It was literally the Truman Show, because you remember Truman didn't know he was being recorded. That shit's wild that they actually did that to a human being.
There's some. Like, if you do research like that, you'd have to get, like, the ethical committees wouldn't allow you to do it.
I swear to God, man, I bet you there's a lot of shit that goes down that none of us know about like that. I mean, think about it. Going back to, MK Ultra was one of those things where they did the medical experiments on people, Tuskegee experiments. I mean, none of this shit was found out while it was being done.
Yeah.
And then you find out, like, even through all the COVID shit, you know, who was funding what was really being suppressed, what wasn't being suppressed. And it's only starting to come out for some people now.
Yeah.
Like, Mike and I were talking about this. There's a lot of COVID stuff. There are people that knew about some of this stuff for probably 3-4 years ago. And right now, there are certain people just finding out about it. It's almost like you're living in 2 different timelines. Like, some people are living, 4 years in the past right now. It's crazy to me.
Right. It's like, the guy driving around in his Toyota Corolla by himself with his mask on is just now finding out.
Yeah. Finding out now the mask doesn't work. Or finding out, like, the 6 feet social distancing was complete garbage and they didn't know why they implemented it.
My favorite thing was the one-way signs in the grocery store. Like, moving one direction was going to help you out.
So at work, one of our buildings, the stairways, like, some of them still say up and down. And I think it's so funny. And you go to the elevator, and there's, like, these worn-out, pathetic stickers that say, it's like from a bygone age, like, stay 6 feet apart. So, like, 4 people could use that elevator if they all stood in the corners. Like who? And then we have all these old. And every entrance to every building has a scanner that you're supposed to stand there and go beep. And it's spoken this creepy British accent. It was like temperature check, 98.7. You will go to entry. Like, it's so just weird. This robot thing. I said eventually, like, it's not gonna be a temperature. It's gonna be like, it's gonna shoot you. You're gonna be above like fever. It's gonna be like pow, like a trap door will open, your body will fall through. Get turned into Soylent Green. No one will see you again.
Get anal probed.
Yeah,
because aliens, right?
Oh yeah,
because we will hit upon aliens again. That'll be a fun day. It was weird though. Like Bill Maher does this show, and he does his new rules. And when this show goes out, it'll be 2 weeks since he did it. He's still talking about right and left, like the people on the right are fucking nut jobs. He acknowledges that there are some on the left, but he's like he doesn't figure out that he's still part of the problem by pushing the shit he's still pushing.
He's too arrogant.
Well, and he had on his show an ex-Republican. I call him an ex-Republican named Adam Kinzinger, who was the guy he was tied to Liz Cheney.
Yes,
on that January 6th committee bullshit, and. The oddly enough, the sane sounding one was Andrew Cuomo, the ex New York governor.
Yeah,
and he was like, he was talking about how everyone was lied to, but he was like, I was lied to. I got bad information from doctors. I did not get the correct information. Like, it was wild how like he's turned around on this shit. Meanwhile, his brother keeps lying and saying shit. He's trying to get on Patrick Bet-David's show and all this other shit to get his Newsmax numbers up. But the thing with Maher is it's weird. It's like there's some days he's like, okay, he's turned the corner. But then there's other days where he just blames Fox News for everything.
Yeah, well, he likes to go after, I don't want to say millennials. Let's say Gen Z.
That was part of the rant.
He likes to go after them. Well, they're such easy targets because they're so dumb. And, like, he loves going after them. It's like, dude, you're just going after that's the easy layup. Like, you're not battled out in the paint. You're going after the easy target.
It's like he's that dumb though. Like it's wild to me that he's that arrogant prick who thinks he's right, telling everyone else they're wrong.
Yeah,
and everyone else is looking at him like, you can't be fucking serious with this shit.
But I think he's kind of always been that way. A lot of conservatives that I've talked to feel like he's actually come closer to being someone that's willing to talk about, hey, we've been wrong on this or we've been wrong on that. But the one thing that I love the new rules because it just makes me laugh. I do think he's incredibly funny. But he does get stuck on these certain topics that he just won't fucking let go.
It's funny. So he's got that new podcast, that Club Random podcast. And I think that's what's turned him around a lot because he'll have conservatives on that show that are smarter than the ones he'll put on his, real time show.
Yeah, with the panel.
Yeah, but he can't avoid the bullshit in that Club Random one. It's one-on-one. He's got no notes. It's a one-on-one. Like Jillian Michaels fucking torched his ass. Like the health, the workout, the fitness the lady, girl. Yeah. She's from The Biggest Loser.
Yeah,
she's the one that just fucking scorched him on inflation. She goes, Bill, when was the last time you went and bought eggs?
Yeah,
and he just didn't have a response for it. But yeah. It's wild to me. Like all of it is.
Are they still flagging podcasts and stuff for COVID?
Yep.
So they're probably flagged this one.
So we got flagged.
Yeah.
We did one on Robert Kennedy, RFK Jr.
Yeah. I remember that.
We did because we were talking about the stuff he said on Rogan's podcast about some of the
vaccine stuff.
The vaccine stuff. And so everyone's like RFK Jr. is anti-vaccine. He's not anti-vaccine. When people actually listen to him talk, he's he just wants the ingredients of the vaccine to be public. Because at one point in time they were putting some shady shit in there. Outside, like it was the stuff like that goes in into like either combines the cells or whatever.
They're using mercury to.
Yeah. It wasn't the vaccine itself that he was anti at the time. This goes years back. He was against the other ingredients that weren't being listed. And he had a very valid reason. And they've since taken some of those out, but right now they're still putting some of that shit in. It's not mercury anymore, but there's some other dangerous chemicals that they put in. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so, but here's he was mentioning some stats on COVID-19, quoting it from the NIH. All we did was just say that's what he was doing. YouTube took it down. They wouldn't even post it. So we didn't even get it put up and then taken down. They just didn't post it. It's wild that and YouTube is Google. Google is deciding what goes up and what doesn't. So if you watch YouTube and they're not willing to show you something that this person is saying, even though he's just reading from an NIH article, who's to say they aren't taking other shit down so that you can't see it?
Yeah.
Maybe you're not finding out truthful information because they deem the person who's giving the message.
Well, I mean, the whole problem with the media now in general is that it hasn't turned into, as far as delivering information, it's no longer about being right. It's about being first. Mm-hmm. And then the other part of it is you're going to spin it to whoever your viewership is. Yeah. So it's not actually news. It's your interpretation of what you think the news is.
Yeah. And a lot of these news people that you see on the late night or the news talk shows, they're entertainers. Mm-hmm. They're there to people who watch Rachel Maddow and that freaking douchebag that comes on before Chris something.
Chris Matthews?
Yeah. No.
Or Joe Scarborough.
Well, he's a douchebag too.
Yes.
I guess I need to be more specific in the douchebaggery.
Yes, please do.
He's the guy that has he looks like a boy version of Rachel Maddow, which is
Keith Olbermann has been in your ear.
Oh, he's nuts.
He's like, have you seen his shit?
Yeah.
My man is unhinged.
He goes after people on social media.
Well, it's
unhinged lunatic.
They celebrate him and shit on Alex Jones. Like, that's your version of Alex Jones.
Yeah, right. He's nuts. He's also nuts.
Yeah. The globalists.
Yeah. Imagine if they ever debated.
You just yell at each other.
You could sell that as a pay-per-view, and I don't know why they haven't done it. Get your money. I swear to God. People will pay to watch that.
The UFC guy, what's his name?
Dana White?
He should promote it. It should be a UFC.
He goes on those shows. He says what he feels.
Yeah. Listen, Dana White put up that stupid fucking Slapfest show. Or Slap Town. What league was that?
I watch it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of that shit was wild.
Yeah.
Like, I thought people's jaws were breaking.
Oh, yeah.
But if he's willing to put that on TV, you're telling me you wouldn't put an Alex Jones and Keith Olbermann debate on TV? I'd watch that shit too. It would probably end up the same way as Slapfest. Someone would probably try and slap somebody.
Yeah,
or at least let them slap each other for a bit.
It could start out as that and end as Slapfest.
Yes, I would. If I'm going to pay $70 for a pay-per-view, I'd pay for that one.
Yeah. I'm paying for the Tyson fight, and I'm paying for that one.
Dude, I can't believe we haven't talked about this Tyson. It got delayed.
Okay.
So, whatever Paul brother it is, he's going to fight some other random asshole. I'm hoping Tyson just punches him in the stomach and he falls over. That dude, I don't care how old he is. When I see, when he punched Roy Jones in that fight, dude, I hurt on the inside watching Roy Jones get. I don't know how Roy Jones took
the only thing I'll tell you, and the things that I've heard, is that obviously the reason it got pushed back, they're saying Tyson's health isn't his health's not great. Mm-hmm. He did that one video when he was older, and you saw him working out. He said he couldn't walk for a week after throwing those punches. Wow. Now he is training, but we're still talking about a damn near 60-year-old man, and the way that everything's being conditioned and done in the rules, my opinion. Jake Paul wins a fight or we get some stupid no decision. But the way that the gambling lines are set, they're not giving away free money.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Now, I've also heard that Jake Paul, and Joe Rogan said this, and he knows fighting, that Jake Paul's a legit fighter. He's not some fuck boy that boxes on the side. He's legit.
He's worked at it and he's gotten better. But the problem that I have with this, and it's the sideshow thing, kind of bring everyone in, is he's handpicking who he's. I don't care that you beat up a YouTuber. I don't care that you beat up a wrestler from the UFC because he wasn't a stand-up fighter, or you fault one of these UFC guys when they're 50 years old. I don't want to watch any of it now. I'm following the stories because we're obviously going to talk about it, but I just get so tired of Jake and Logan Paul.
Yeah,
I don't like them as individuals.
When you've got,
I'm not saying that.
It says something when you've got Mike Tyson in the ring with anyone, and the worst person in the ring isn't Mike Tyson. The worst person there. It's who's the worst person, Mike Tyson or Mike Tyson? No. But it's this guy.
At some point, we
you
have
mean as
to...
a human, right?
Yeah.
Okay, not as a boxer.
Yeah.
Okay.
At some point, we have to look at things and go, how did Mike Tyson do all the things that he done, or like even some of the stuff that he was accused of doing, and have come back full circle where everyone loves him?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with The Hangover.
Yes, 100%.
When he was in The Hangover.
100%.
You know?
That changed everyone's perception.
And then he also did like a Cartoon Network show where he was a cartoon version of himself. And like, look, you mentioned The Hangover, but he's also doing all these other events where he's out and people are seeing him out and about. Started his own weed company.
Mm-hmm. He's on The Simpsons too.
They even made, they had edibles of like Holyfield's ear. They were doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
At least he could
They were
laugh
in the
at
shape
himself.
of an ear, like the piece of the ear.
That's funny. At least he can laugh at himself though.
Yeah.
Until you poke him too far and he punch you in the face. But I'm not like, Tyson doesn't have to be Tyson of old. He just needs to be able to hit hard enough for 3 seconds to punch that dude in the gut and the
I hope
kidney.
you're right.
And
I just don't think it's going to happen.
I hope he bursts the kidney of the kid because I don't like them.
Tyson might throw out his back throwing a punch.
But the thing is, what's good about it is, like, I'm not into boxing at all. And here I am talking about boxing because of this.
Yep.
Just like when...
Wait until you do a WNBA show, right? That's coming up soon.
I don't remember if we touched on that, did we?
With WNBA?
I think we did.
I
3
believe
weeks
so.
ago.
Yeah.
We barely touched on it. Like, we didn't go into it like we could have.
Yeah.
I think it's getting to the point, though. I mean, shoot, Jamel Hill's making a career off of it.
Yes, she's definitely flipped the script.
Yeah, but, it's funny because people complain about Caitlin Clark and Angel... And, like, if you've seen Angel Reese's Instagram, I'm like, yeah, that's...
Actually, I want to see her without the fake eyelashes, but that's just me.
I don't really care. It's not with the eyes.
Shit.
Eyes are up here, sir. Like,
No, not when you're putting it all over.
yeah. But, like, people are talking about WNBA. Like, no one gave two shits about WNBA before.
If the media narrative or some of these people keep going like the way they are, or some of these ladies in the WNBA keep talking like they are, they're going to lose that fan base as quick as they got it.
Well,
sometimes you got to shut up and just accept the some of it that you don't like with what you do like.
But the thing is, they talk, like, they'll do the dumb things where they compare, like, Caitlin Clark's salary to an NBA player. It's like, stop being dumb.
No, she's one of the first women to get a shoe deal. So she coming out of college. And look, I don't know why people flocked to her. I do think the race stuff had something to do with it when the argument started with Angel Reese, and then you had another year to build it up after last year. But, like, I would say this to the WNBA players. You don't get to pick who your savior is going to be. And I don't mean that in some sort of religious standpoint, but, like, she's bringing more viewers. So the fact that she's bringing eyes, what I would want to do is bust her ass while the other eyes are watching instead of making a fool of myself when they're watching.
Yeah.
I know exactly why because it goes back to NIL money. This is the first class to come in the NBA that truly could take advantage of NIL and all of the sponsorships that came with it. It gave the girls, it gave them eyeballs through sponsorships, through paid advertising. Mm-hmm. They all, whoever the person was that told them to get on Instagram and start doing, I mean, if your main job is Instagram model, and you just happen to play basketball.
Well, you'd rather do that because you're not going to make as much playing basketball.
Yeah, right. But look at the real winners of the NIL were the NCAA women.
Because they got to stay 4 years.
Well, and
but they're also the ones that people are looking at more.
Who are they going to look at? So unless you're some big name SEC, Big Ten quarterback basketball player, no one's really paying attention to anybody else. Livy Dunn wears sexy bikini, and everyone's following.
Well, that's because they've sexualized it now.
Yeah,
and that's why
she's getting that Fabletics money.
Yeah.
Look, women sell. Like, let's put all the PC shit aside. Sex sells.
Yeah.
Has for years. Marketing advertisers, executives know that. If it didn't, we'd be fucking drenched in sponsorship money.
Right? Anything could be a sex toy if you're brave enough.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but
I'm just waiting for my OnlyFans page to take off.
Men like to look at women. Guess who else likes to look at women? Women like to look at women. Studies have been done on this. These studies go back 20, 30, 40
why
years.
do men like to look at men?
Men also like to look at men, but even if they're gay men, they like to look at women. Are attractive to everybody.
Yeah.
Some just decide to put the desires somewhere else, but whatever. But the thing is, it's like there's a reason why women smoking sold cigarettes to everybody, not just men, not just women, right? Well, these girls in college as creepy as it fucking sounds, these advertisers are going to tap into that. Oh shit, you're on TV 3 days a week playing basketball. Well, we're going to take advantage of your Instagram account. And whatever, I guarantee all these girls are being tapped into by marketing agencies. And they're setting up these Instagram accounts and these other accounts. And they're saying, look, we're going to do this. We're going to get you this amount of money in college. I mean, Caitlin Clark could have left last year and been the number one pick. Mm-hmm. But she knew she was going to make more money at Iowa. This truly is the first class of women to be drafted into a pro women's sports league that have taken advantage of the NIL to build their own brands, to build their own fan bases. And those people are like, well, why are people just watching Caitlin Clark? Because she built her fucking fan base.
And
they're not WNBA fans.
Yeah, and that's not exclusive to WNBA. NBA fans are they'll follow that one player around. Mm-hmm. When LeBron went to Miami, all of a sudden there were a million Heat batters and stuff. Yeah. And then he goes back to, and then all of a sudden, oh, now it's all Cleveland Cavaliers, and now he's back in Los Angeles. They follow players around, whereas other sports, like, if Alex Ovechkin left the Capitals and went to, I don't know, Winnipeg, I'm not going to be a Winnipeg Jets fan. I'm still a Caps fan. I might root for Ovechkin in Winnipeg, but I'm definitely still a Capitals fan. So
you still have $5 on him.
When you give me your $5 after he breaks the record.
I am winning that record. I'm winning that money. He's not going to break it. He will break first.
Nope.
Ivan Drago will come out and break him in half.
He'll play. He'll score one goal a game for the next 20 years. One goal a year.
One goal a year
for the next 20 years.
Game out 75.
Yeah.
Get the record.
If you didn't know, we have a bet. I don't think he's going to break Gretzky's record. He does.
Ovechkin's breaking Gretzky's record.
He's not going to break it.
That's the only thing the Capitals have going for him right now.
He's going to die first.
No, he's not. Now they did show a picture of him shirtless on vacation somewhere in Russia, and he looks like a fat slob.
Yeah, peak physical condition. Next thing you know, although in Russia, if they bring him back to the U.S., he'll get the gender transition surgery. He'll be a woman, come back as a mail order bride, and he won't be playing
Very nice.
anymore.
My mom will marry him.
You're supposed to have hot mail order brides, not ones that look like Alex Ovechkin.
You could be a good-looking dude, a good-looking woman. You never know.
Have you seen him? He's not a good-looking guy.
That's true. He's not. No. Yeah, he's definitely, the surgery wouldn't help him.
That's not how that works.
No. It doesn't automatically make you beautiful. Well, all right. We appreciate you listening. Thanks for jumping around the topics with us. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share wherever you can. If you're on YouTube, if you can follow us on all the podcast platforms, that'd be great. Or if anything, just listen to the show. We appreciate you listening. Thank you, Adam Chubbuck, TechMD.com, and we'll see you next week.